Yes. Welcome back to episode 3 of Vegetative.
That's how we do it, yeah.
So the downstairs is absolutely bombed out today. Doing a bit of cleaning, getting all this corner stuff sorted here. I realised I've still got this massive pot of soil from the candy gas that was flowering over Christmas. So I've only used this pot of soil once. I've currently run out of soil. It's an absolute ball ache going getting 60 litres worth of soil, 40 litres, whatever you want, from the grow shop. So I've got some leftover bits here. I was just going to mix it all up and make some new soil, but then I thought I might as well film it because this is life, innit? Sometimes we have to recycle stuff. Sometimes we don't always have the stuff that we need, but we need to get going anyway. So we're going to smash all this soil up. Inside here somewhere will be a big root ball from the grow. There it is. So we'll get that big root ball out of there, shake all the bits out of it, and then in here we've got some leftover perlite. So that's just like straight white rocks that'll go in there to help drainage, and it helps like the soil kind of dry out a little bit. So it's good for the roots, good to create little air pockets and drainage. BioBizz light mix, barely anything in there. And this is the big bag of agricultural worm castings that we've got. So we've still got quite a lot of worm castings in there, and they're pretty strong, great for vegetation growth as well. So we need to make a big mix. We're going to mix all of that and all of this together into one big mix, and then put it back in a bag, and then we can reuse it at a later date. But for now, get you on a time lapse. Let's get this soil mixed. So we've got the old pot with extra perlite. We've got some old soil from old pots. Just pulled all the root balls out of them. These are all the old root balls, bits of chunks, plants that have been chopped, but obviously just don't need that root ball. So we just want the loose soil that's all around it. So worm castings, this is proper rich in microbes, minerals. There's definitely going to be some worms in here somewhere for sure. Lots of nitrogen. Great for pretty much everything to do with growing. Gives it an overall booster, a bit of a vitality, and an overall nitrogen. So we'll mix all this up as well, get everything going up. There's a worm, knew there was some in there. So we'll get this all mixed together and then get it rebagged. Hench pile of soil in the middle of the kitchen so the missus doesn't come down, but it should be fine. Get all this evenly mixed now. Get some kind of scooper. That's all pretty much nice, fully mixed soil. Got a lot of perlite in there, got a little bit of all mix, a little bit of light mix, and mainly worm castings. So that's a nice little base there. Plus obviously we can amend this as we go. This is basically just a substrate, a medium, something to grow in. So there might be a little bit of leftover nutrients in there from the pot that was in flower, but overall I think we flushed that out quite a bit towards the end, and this stuff anyway will be kind of quite light. Maybe it's kind of strong at the start, but I mean overall it'll balance out, and if we keep giving the plants exactly what they need, water and nutrients on the right schedule, the substrate is just there to hold the roots in place. But now we know that we've got a nice organic substrate, homemade, using leftover soil, so we're not wasting anything either. It's recycling, thrifty, and obviously you get to make your own soil. So we'll get this back in the bag. Good job we saved the bag. I've done this before previously and didn't save one, and you have nowhere to put it. You're like, no. But luckily, saved a 60 litre bag of perlite. So we'll just scoop that back into that bag, and then we can reuse this as and when we need it. Got massive bag of organic soil there, pre-mixed with perlite and worm castings. So that'll definitely do for a while. We can make sure now that we can store that, and then once the plants get into that, if we do see any deficiencies or any burning, we know what to do. If the plants start burning, we know it's pretty strong, so we just need to only add water. If the plants start looking deficient, we know that it's not very strong, and we need to start adding some of the BioBiz nutrients. So we've got a good balance, got everything we need to continue the grow, and I don't have to go to the grow shop or buy any more expensive soil. Nice one. So that's much better down here now. Pulled out all that soil, cleaned everything out. Big bag of soil there, and we've got all the prepped water. Now that we've got a lot of plants in veg, they're gonna demand a lot more water. And obviously the fact that we've got these buds just drying right next to it, the last thing that I wanted to do was leave a load of random stuff here, or stuff that more bugs could get into, or like you see in that big pot of soil, anything could go in there, spiders, mites, anything. And with all that harbouring there, it's definitely too close to the flowering product, and I don't want any of that to get inside this tent. So it's good to have a quick whip round, clean everything off, and then it's in a nice space so we can get these babies dry. This is the second day of drying now. The dehumidifier has been on around 40-50%, which makes the ambient humidity in here around 75. So as the first day or two, you want to keep it just at around 70. You know, you don't want to slap it straight away with like a dry environment. So it's good to slow it down, build up to this kind of finish that we want. These buds are really nice, but we definitely want them to finish nice and soft. We don't want them to dry too fast and go too crispy. So it's much better that we take the time and we decrease this just a couple of % each day over the next 2 weeks, and hopefully somewhere around 13 days from now, this should be at around 55-60%, and it'll be perfect to be trimmed and then go into the grove bags. They're all looking nice now, smelling decent as well. Lots of pinks, lots of silvers and greens. Nice little finish here. That was one little bud that I chopped off the top of the pink milk re-veg, looking real nice. So we'll let them do the thing, let them chill in here for the next 13 days. The environment's spot on, the temperature's spot on, and now we've got all super clean and organised. Perfect reset to bring in the next cycle, 2 weeks from now. So back downstairs in the basement grow. These are 4 Queen of the Souths that have been vegging out in the bedroom grow under the Mars T5 LEDs. So these plants are kind of maxed out in these pots now. They're definitely root bound, feeling a little bit heavy as well. And obviously you can see they're massively stunted inside there. But this is what I wanted with them. I just wanted to keep them small. I don't need to shoot them up. It's a great genetic. It's definitely another keeper strain, but I'm just not flowering it this time round. So when I took 5 clones of this, all 5 survived. So now I've got 1 already in a fabric pot, but we need to get 4 more in there. Not even too sure what I'll do with these. Maybe I'll do a whole tent of Queen of the South next time. We'll see how that turns out. But overall, we just need to keep the genetic alive. We need to keep these plants healthy, and then they can keep in that kind of low limbo status until we need them, or until we need to stretch them out a little bit and then take some more clones off them. But right now, they're proper stunted. See these purple branches, a little bit deficient, a bit stressed out maybe, very short. So we need to get them out of these pots, get them in some bigger ones, and let them stretch a little bit. So we'll get you on a time lapse. We're going to be using the soil that we made a few days ago. That's been sitting now for around 2 days. So that should be all right to use. We're just going to use that soil, and then we're going to use water just for these at first, just to gauge it. Maybe this soil's pretty hot, maybe it's pretty weak, but overall we just need to gauge it. So I'll be using just water until I see some reaction in the leaves and I know which nutrients to use, and then we'll get them back up to par. And it's been a few days in the drying tent. 70%, so maybe I'll bring the dehumidifier back down here. It was pretty dry last night, so I switched it off, but rising up again to around 70% isn't great. So I'm going to add the dehumidifier now, and then that should pull out all the additional moisture in the air. But overall they feel good, they feel nice and crispy, they're looking quite good and frosty. Some good results there. It's only going to be a little yield. We knew that going into it. It's only a 5 litre pot, and we didn't even really veg them out. We just threw them in and flowered them straight away. But again, we were just making room for the next plants that are coming through, and I didn't want to throw these away. So again, nice little hobby yield, just 9 weeks, and then we'll get some more in there anyway. Perfect little harvest, and that'll keep me going when I get back from Mexico. So let's get these potted. There we go. That's all 4 Queen of the South clones done. We'll get them back upstairs under the Mars T5 lights, and then who knows, maybe we'll flower them, maybe we'll clone them, maybe they'll go to a different location, maybe they'll just go outside for the summer. But either way, we've got the Queen of the South backed up, and they're all looking healthy. That is one tool I would recommend every grower get. So handy. We've got Frozen Supersonic, the Pink Milk, PMZ1, and the G-Wiz. So round about halfway through, you'll find that all the moisture will start getting drawn out of this tent. Luckily, the moisture's just gone up in here because I was just cooking some pasta and the steam in the kitchen filled the room. So yeah, it's gone up a little bit, but over the next couple of days now, this will start to drop, and the ambient humidity in this room will start to get really dry. So I'm going to start introducing this little humidifier. So this is only a cheap little stick that I got from Temu. They literally cost about £1 or £2. It's just that, and it goes into just the biggest bottle of water you can possibly get, and then stick it in that. That will literally just stay on. It's got 2 settings on it, so I don't even put it on the number 1 setting. That's the number one setting. I usually use that for vegetation, but you just put it on the second click, and that just does a little pulse every couple of seconds, and it keeps the humidity in the tent kind of just about right. So if we put this inside the tent, the dehumidifier outside of the tent, we should be able to lock in the humidity at around 55, 65, something like that. Hopefully, ideally, it needs to be 62% bang on, roughly. But obviously, proper climate control is not easy. So yeah, we're going to aim for a sweet spot of around 60%. So hopefully we can get that. It's not looking too bad. We'll bring the dehumidifier down in a second, and then we'll introduce the humidifier as well. This is a really great little tool, and it was literally just a couple of quid from Temu. And I've used it for many years now. You can take the top off and you can clean it. Nice little handy bit of equipment there, and you don't need any expensive humidifiers. So we'll get cracking. We'll bring the humidifier down here, and hopefully we can get the humidity locked in and these buds can cure off. They're smelling really nice at the moment, I'll be honest. I'm not going to touch them right now though. I don't want to get too giddy. But yeah, we'll lock that humidity in and come back in the next couple of days. Yes fam, so we are back in the drying tent. It's now the 1st of April, so it's day 7 of drying. We've got 7 more days to go, so just a few more, halfway through. We've got the humidity pumping out, we've got the dehumidifier on, and everything's rocking at the right temperature, 18 to 20 and around 60, 62, 66, whatever. So we need to make sure that we maintain this humidity and this temperature. It's pretty much locked in with the dehumidifier and the humidifier on. So this is just pumping it out into the outside air, and then the inline side fans here, the air is getting sucked up inside there. So the humidity is getting dragged in by the inline fan. This is on just very low. You can see it's not off, but it is just on its lowest setting. So that's constantly removing all of the old stagnant air while dragging in new air and new humidity through here. And then this is just regulating the overall humidity at around 50%, which leaves this one about 10% extra, so 50 to 60% and around 18 to 20 degrees. Kind of makes your head fall off when you've got 3 different meters and you're looking at them at different numbers, but you've got to get, an average. Every single one of these meters never reads the same thing, so you've just got to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. If you use 1 meter, you're just not bang on, so you need to put a couple in there. I've even got a 4th one here, actually, a backup one. So that's 62 at 20 degrees, so that's bang on. That's exactly actually what we need. But these 18 and 60, bang on. 62 and 20 is also a good range, and 71 and 17, so maybe there's something wrong with this one. 71 is pretty high, everything else is in the low 60s, and that's saying low 70s, but all of these meters can be around 5 or 10% out anyway. They're only cheap, they're about $5, and that's why you need to get a couple of them. Also, if you drop them or they've been in a hot environment or a humid environment, it can mess them up as well, so I always put a couple in there just to make sure I get a good reading. So gee whiz, looking purple, looking frosty, smelling kind of gelato-y, kind of sherby, a little bit blackberry as well. Decent. Frozen supersonic, always a banger, really sticky. It's like peanut gas. And we've got the pink milk. This is actually starting to turn out really gassy. It was a little bit kind of fruity, a bit more tropical, but again we'll have to see how it cures off. Never done this one before, so this is a total new strain. In the back here we've got the PMZ trained plant, PMZ1. It's basically just got a 20 bag on each branch, but that's alright. Like I was saying, this won't be a small yield. We was just getting these out of the way so we can get the big ones in while I'm away. That's smelling proper Skittles on Skittles, bit like kind of chemical-y, almost gluey, not gassy, but it is gassy, but it's more like chemical gluey with Skittles in there. It's an absolute banger. This is my number one, always will be for a long time, I think. Only a small yield from that, but that's a good smoke there, you know. I'm still happy with the size of those buds, and they are solid, smell decent. And then we've got in the back here as well, these are the branches that were chopped off the candy gas. So candy gas is smelling really nice at the moment. Definitely got a different kind of vibe to it. Again, buds are only small. It was a stressed out, small, tiny plant that we chopped off a load of cuts off. And I didn't veg it out at all. I didn't veg any of these out. I just chopped them up to death and then threw them in anyway. But yeah, they're doing all right. Smell decent. So we'll see how they cure off. Should definitely have a couple of ounces there. So not too bad at all. We'll keep that rocking for another 7 days. So on April the 8th, which is what we've got noted down, that'll be the day that we start trimming these up. So April the 8th is another 7 days and we'll get them trimmed. We've got some grove bags here as well, so they'll just be curing off in those grove bags while I'm away. Hopefully it can off gas, separate a bit of the smell from that, and then we'll have just nice little chronic buds left over in there when we come back. 10 days in the bag, 14-day dry, a couple of days trimming. That should be a nice cured small batch harvest.
Big shout out to Joint Endeavours, OG and original, great community highlight. He really is, deserves to be followed. Joint Endeavours, they're back at it again, deleted multiple times, guys. So throw some love over here.
Oh, that's pretty, look at that.
Yeah,
man, I like that.
Flower harvest, you know.
Frosty.
Trichome pictures, we got some big necks and some big heads up in there. Making it happen, right?
Oh yeah, there you go.
But you can see here, they know how to fill a canopy.
Pretty.
Do it right. So this is a UK grower out in Barcelona, Spain. I know they have a YouTube as well. Definitely check them out, guys. They're making it happen, living the dream, all types of different stuff. Joint Endeavours, community highlight for this week.
I love that, man.
So we're back in the Spider Farmer 3x3. The plants have been vegging out now for around 8 days, so they're all doing pretty well. They've been under the 300 watt for around 18.6, so good light cycle, decent temperature and humidity as well. That's been on point. They're all doing really well. The colour in these have come back. That's the sugarcane. It's the frozen supersonic. We've got the PMZ2. Still a little bit of deficiency on here, so maybe you might repot that again, maybe put it in a bigger pot, but these ones have been doing fine. We've got also another PMZ2. That one's also kind of showing a little bit of deficiency, but the plant's massive, so I could definitely do with driving a little bit more nitrogen in there and bringing those leaves up to scratch. The sugarcane's looking good, and we've got the frozen supersonic as well. This is another PMZ2. This one's in a bigger pot, but this one's looking much better than these two. So that's why I'm thinking maybe I might upgrade the size of the pot, and it might benefit from a bit more stretching out and a bit more nutrients. We've got another sugarcane here at the back. This one's looking decent, shooting up. And then we've got the PMZ1 bush plant and another PMZ1 bush plant in there. Also, the pink milk re-veg. Definitely no re-veg yet. It's going to be a few months until that comes back, but we put it in a little frame, so that'll be supported now, and it'll just stay in here or maybe downstairs until we get some shoots off it. So speaking of a re-veg shoot, here is the Gee Whiz. So the Gee Whiz is definitely getting some shoots coming off that now. That's the monster crop. So I might train out a few of these leaves here, and then we can definitely get some cuts off that. Overall, it's looking decent, very healthy, and we'll just keep doing the same thing that we're doing here. It's managing very well. Also, the candy gas re-veg. So we're going to have to wait again for another couple of months for this. I've just realised we should probably switch this off. Might be a little bit more quieter. And yeah, so everything's doing pretty well. Everything's vegged out nicely. We've got enough material here for the clones and for the next harvest, which is exactly what we wanted. So these are going to max out this tent. Hopefully the tent downstairs, everything will dry in the next maybe 6 days, and then some of these can go back downstairs, some of the other stuff, and we can move on to the next cycle, and we'll get this entire tent flowered. But for now, this one and this one will be vegging out. We're going to take clones off maybe one of the sugar canes and clones off one of the PMZs, and then maybe we'll take some clones off the PMZ ones as well, and make sure that we get the major mother plants flowered. All the clones will then go back into the bedroom grow, and we'll get the cycle all over again. This is the main goal of 2026, is to keep that perpetual harvest moving, and the only way that we can do that is by keep taking clones and keep planting seeds and make sure that we've got everything in the right stages, always ready to move on to the next stage. So we need to always make sure that we've got stuff going in the bedroom, then that can move up to the downstairs grow, and then the downstairs grow can come up here into the 12-12 flower tent. Right now this is on veg, but usually we always keep this tent on a 12-12 cycle, but for now, just maximizing space, we need to make sure that we get everything vegged out and all these clones done. So right now the entire house will be in veg for the next week, and then we'll move everything over and get it all flowered, get everything trimmed, and then we can make sure that we've got enough clones. The main problem will be on April the 15th when I fly to Mexico. So we need to make sure that everything is happy and rooted in these pots, and we need to give them enough water so that they survive for 10 days. I don't have an automatic irrigation system, there's no reservoirs in here, and nobody's coming in my house to water the plants while I'm away. So we'll just see what happens. This is nature, natural selection. We'll take enough clones, we'll see what survives. Usually the clones that survive for the 10 days will be the strongest clones. Overall, clones can last for around 14 to 20 days inside the dome. So we'll make sure that we get cuts of every single one of these plants, and we'll do a cloning episode just before I go away. Once we have those clones, then they will definitely stay alive in the clone dome for around 14 days. So at least we know we've got a backup if any of these die when we go away. Same as before, same as the time before that, things are going to die, so get prepared. Coming up towards the end of April, we'll see which clones are the strongest, and then they're the ones that will go back into the veg tent for the perpetual cycle. But for now, we've got a lot of material, we've got a lot of plants going. We'll just keep everything happy and green until we can trim all of the buds that are downstairs, and then we can get the perpetual cycle going. And speaking of the bedroom cupboard grow, here are the repotted Queen of the South. So we did them in the last episode. As you can see, they're going to max out, they're going to hit that light very, very soon. and we're just on the 8-day countdown for this stuff to be trimmed. Once we trim all of that, we can then get all of these into the next stage. But these are all looking good. We're starting to get a little shoot on the tight re-veg there, so I think it's coming along. It's just going to take an extra month maybe. But we've got sugarcane in there, we've got a frozen supersonic at the back, and we've got 5 Queen of the Souths plus the G-Wiz. So all of this is going to go into the downstairs tent. Downstairs tent right now should be at a good humidity. Let's have a look. What have we got here? 60, 63 and 69. So yeah, we knew that this one was a little bit high, but the temperature's all right. 21, a little bit hot now. But yeah, hopefully that cools down a little bit. The sun has come out today. It has got a little bit warmer in Spain coming into April now. So it's going to start getting warmer, and this is obviously going to be a massive temperature issue for the grow, for drying, for curing. So hopefully we can invest in an AC, maybe around May. But we'll just see how it goes, guys. You know what it's like. I don't have any sponsors. We've got no funding here. It's just me on my own doing my best. So, frozen supersonic, looking decent. Pink milk, PMZ, 1, candy gas branches, and the G-Wiz. All looking banging. We've got now 6 days to count down. So we'll get these trimmed up in 6 days. Dehumidifier is doing its job. We don't need the humidifier right now, that's outside. It'd just be a little bit too much for this tent. So, it's all looking good. Another little update in the tents. And my knees are Alright fam, so that's been a busy day. Better chill out. I'm gonna roll a joint. But let's see what we've got going in the joint box. Right, back in the joint box. I was doing a little bit of trimming earlier of the pink milk, but it's not quite ready yet. We've got a nice jar of rainbows here. This is curing off nicely now. We're at 62%, bang on. Smelling super Skittles, really nice. This is one of my friend's grows. Real nice little bit of Skittles on Skittles there. Very fresh. Done a good job with this, to be fair. But yeah, I had to go and contact the old boy because obviously mine's still drying and we've got another week yet. So I thought I'd show off some of the skills from the people around the mountain. Here, this is actually my PMZ2, but my friend, he's managed to change the temperature in his room and make it really cold, so it was like 18. And what he's managed to do is make it super purple, super dark. So that's great news, that knowing that the PMZ has got the capability there to look kind of purplish almost. I know most strains will go purple if you slap down that temperature to 18, but you know, not all of them. I mean, sometimes you're stressing the plant out as well, but some plants like the stress, some plants don't like the stress, and you've just got to experiment with it and see what's going on. But this is my PMZ2 and I've never ever seen it this colour. Smells exactly the same, kind of looks like the same, but wow, bag appeal on that has just gone up by at least a couple of points there. So that's great, knowing that the genetics that I'm rocking have got the capability to look real top shelf. This guy's obviously a way better grower than I am. But yeah, I mean, it's just, he's got a better setup, better lights, better room, and of course we're all learning. I'm learning from him, and that's the deal. So this is some excellent stuff here. Definitely get that for like top shelf, and very privileged to have friends that can you know, raise the bar when it comes to your crops. So we're always learning, we're always looking for new stuff, and I couldn't be more happier that someone else has done that with my strain. What a legend. Downstairs in the basement grow, introducing the newest member to the family. We've got Pineapple Auto. by Humboldt Seeds. Now, not everyone is 50-50 on autos. Some people love them, some people don't. I've just put another little seed in the ground there just to check that soil that we made to see if it's strong or not, or to see if it will burn it. The best way to test it really is if you put seeds into hot soil, it'll just instantly burn them out. So at least now we know that this soil isn't too strong and it won't burn out a seed. So that's took about 3 days to germinate. I just left it in the bathroom grow, which is basically just a heat mat and a light dome with 2 cheap 20-watt bars. Super cheap, again, just a little germination propagation dome. But yeah, it does the job and the seeds come up nicely. So as it's survived and it's come up, I think it's time that we name it. So better get a label on it. And there we go, newest member of the family, Pineapple Auto from Humboldt. So, good thing is about these autoflowers is they just flower whenever they feel like it. Unlike in most of my spaces in here and upstairs, a lot of it is dependent on time because they're photo periods. So the bedroom grow is on 18/6. This is usually on 24/0, and the one upstairs is usually on 12/12, and they usually move the plants around into each area as and when they need it. But this one would actually flower in either or one of the places, so I can put it in anywhere. It'll flower whenever it's happy. And yeah, you usually get, if you put it in a 5-litre pot, you usually get about an ounce off it. Sometimes they're strong, sometimes they're not strong, but that's all just part of the grow. And these autoflowers are a good little hobby plant, and you can just have them popping off in the background. And overall, these Humboldt autos are usually done from seed within 85 days, 90 days, something like that. Basically, it's like a flowering cycle. So, but from seed. So they are very fast, and they're getting better and better every year. So hopefully this Pineapple Auto's got some good terps, and hopefully it has a good yield. Only time will tell. As this is up and rocking, we're going to put it into the bedroom grow. So we're going to take it outside of the dome, and it should survive now. It's looking pretty fresh, pretty healthy, and it should do well in the bigger lights under the Mars Hydro T5 LEDs. So I brought the candy gas downstairs. This is the one that's been re-vegging now, only for around a week. Still smelling absolutely banging, by the way. Great little bottom buds there. Slowly, you can see some little green bits coming out and some little leaves. Maybe it'll die, maybe it'll re-veg. Who knows? But it smells decent. I definitely want to save that genetic. But the reason why I've just brought it down here is because to show you this. So this is actually a really good sign. It looks kind of strange. It looks like a little mini mole mound. But what it actually is worm castings. Somewhere inside this pot is obviously a little worm that's loving life. So the living soil with the organic method is definitely kicking in. You can see the reaction there. This happens when like a load of water goes into the pot, and then obviously it floods the pot, the worm eats everything, and then the worm comes up to the top, does a little poo, deposits all the free worm castings, and then goes back down. So this effectively is what I've been buying, but now I've got worms producing it for free. So you can like mess it around, you can rub it all over there, or you can just leave it there and let it do its job. So I'm just going to leave it there. Maybe it's a place that the worm keeps going back to, and that might produce a big pile of worm castings. But overall, I don't want to till the soil, I don't want to turn it up or move anything around, because there's obviously now an ecosystem in here. There's worms, there's microbes, there's stuff going on inside there, and that should hopefully provide a really good base so that we can re-veg this candy gas. It's a decent strain, and now it's got a decent pot there, because it's going to be in this pot now for the next 2 or 3 months at least. It takes quite a long time to re-veg a plant and for it to turn back into its natural veg state so we can take some clones. So great news. Worm castings are basically free now, and hopefully this pot stays active and alive. And the plant will give us some decent clones in about 2 or 3 months. Happy days. Yes, fam. Do it look like my YouTube thumbnail or what? Oh, right, I'm back at the rolling tray. This is the PMZ2, banging strain. Right, so we're gonna get the PMZ rolled up. It's my friend's batch, my clone, I give it to him, but he's done something decent with it. He's managed to somehow get it to go purple and orange. Mine's only ever been green before, but he's done a good job. What a legend. We're gonna get one of these blazed up. Raw 200s, you know it. We've got raw tips, you know it. Alright fam, absolutely loving the PMZ. Right, that's about it for today guys. It's been a shorter episode. The last episode was just over an hour. I got just over 1,700 views on that video, so I hope this video does just the same. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Everyone that's watching this right now, if you've made it this so far, hit the subscribe button. I got, like I said, just over 1,000, almost 2,000 views on the last video. If every one of those people who watched it subscribed, I'd have over 2,000 subscribers right now. And obviously being banned from Instagram, I actually think that I've got more subscribers on YouTube than I do have followers on Instagram. Instagram has been banned about 6 times now overall, and it's not exactly easy to keep getting that momentum back. So we really need to get everything over onto YouTube. So thanks for everyone for watching. Hope you found this educational. If you've got anything to say about anything in the video, please let me know. Write it in the comments. I literally answer and read every single one of them. So thank you for everyone who's interacting with the channel and commenting on that. It's great to build a community and get a good group of like-minded people together. Overall, with these kind of people and these kind of followers, maybe one day we could start a podcast. Maybe we could all join in and create a bigger network of UK growers and obviously people around Europe and America as well. I actually seen that half of my views came from the US and the other half came from the UK. So maybe it's something to do with the algorithm. Maybe the algorithm's actually rewarding me now for doing the content. Who knows? All I know is that I'm going to keep on making these videos and they're going to keep on coming. As long as I'm growing plants, you'll be getting videos. So like I said, that's a wrap for today. We've got all the plants are vegging. Next video, we're going to have to take some clones. We're going to do a trimming session and let's find out exactly how we're going to prep for my trip away to Mexico. Getting married, I'll be gone for 10 days. Hopefully the plants survive. You've seen it before in the other videos. Sometimes they survive, sometimes they don't. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, go back to season 1. I've got a playlist there with all of my past endeavours. You can see me fail and succeed at the grow. It's a great watch and obviously we're learning every single day. So thanks everyone for tuning in. That's it for today. Giant Endeavours, peace out.